Welcome to the new Overlords Podcast. I'm Max, and this is a video game show where I'm joined every week by my pre-show pre-host. Yes, that's right. This isn't even her final form. It's Sema. Hello there, Sema.
I like that. Are we also, does that make you the post-show?
I think I'm just the same old release from launch. I get no upgrades.
Yeah,
You're the one who upgrades and now needs like a pre-host release. Just like World of Warcraft.
Yes, we got some pre-patch shenanigans going on this week and next week.
Mm-hmm.
So you've been playing them, right, Max?
I have. Well, it's only been out for like a day, but yes.
Right. Yes, not even 24 hours yet.
Right. But I did. I tried a bunch of the things. So we're going to talk about the things that we tried. We're going to talk about the news that's been out because it's been in testing for months now as well.
Yeah.
But it is all here. I did look for any like big drama that's actually here, but there doesn't seem to be a lot. But one thing we'll also talk about is what's the deal with pre-patch? Why does Blizzard do pre-patches and do them so well and get a lot of value out of it in multiple dimensions, like both from marketing perspective and testing their content and getting players used to the new builds and things like that. But nobody else does it. Final Fantasy doesn't. So we're going to talk about that. It's because it's fascinating to me. I don't know why it's so right for them and no one else has picked up on it. And maybe it's just that they haven't because it's work. We'll
not
discuss.
to do a segue or anything, but it's kind of the other side of how Highguard is doing it.
Segue to the news.
Good news, everyone.
So this week, everyone's talking about how no one is talking about Highguard. Yeah, this is blowing up on discussion boards is the main place, but also like tons of YouTube videos. If you go search for Highguard, your feed will be filled with, why is there no marketing for Highguard? So if you haven't heard about Highguard, it's the new hero shooter that was talked about at the Game Awards, TGA. It was the last trailer that came out at the end of the Game Awards, and it wasn't what people wanted to see. And when they looked at the trailer as well, they said the trailer didn't get them as excited as they want. And being relatively moderate and well-reasoned, everyone said, we'll wait and see what it's about.
Right.
No, they did not. They said, this is terrible. It's dead already. They shouldn't even make this. This is garbage. Since then, the company that's making it, I've even forgotten their name at this point, which maybe they're fine with that as well. But they've said nothing else. They've announced nothing. They've said nothing. They've been radio silent since that trailer dropped. And it's coming out next week. It's coming out in 5 days. It's coming out on the 26th. So everybody's saying, what is going on? How can you be releasing a big PvP hero shooter kind of game, like an Overwatch competitor, even if it's not exactly like an Overwatch style game, and they're trying to differentiate themselves, at least in their Steam page. How can you have nothing else? You just had the one trailer in the Game Awards and nothing else. Another thing that everybody was talking about and has come up recently in a couple articles that got written about it is we all were thinking, and even we were talking about it last week, man, they probably paid a ton of money. Maybe they just blew all their marketing budget paying for their slot on the Game Awards. And a couple sources have found out since then that they may not have paid anything for that. Apparently, Jeff Keighley really liked it, had that slot open because someone pulled out at a late moment and said, you guys want it? You want me to slot you in here? And apparently they said yes. And that's it. So I don't know, maybe they just have zero marketing budget. So it's a bunch of speculation.
This is Paul Tassi at Forbes saying 2 people told me this.
Yes, it is.
And Forbes is Forbes.
Forbes is Forbes, but still a Forbes writer and has 2 separate sources. Now,
yeah,
again, who knows? Whether they
Right.
did or didn't is irrelevant to the fact that they still have not said anything afterwards. Now, there could be a couple things associated with that. And there could be a couple reasons. Maybe because it got such a weird reception after the Game Awards, maybe they said, well, I don't know what we're going to do now. Maybe it's better for us to just shut up and put up, and we're going to release on the 26th and let the game speak for itself.
Yeah.
It is hard because they are the kind of game where you do need a lot of people to play for it to kind of work. But how many people do you really need to play if they're optimizing sort of their matchmaking and things like that? Maybe you only need a couple thousand. You don't need 100,000. Maybe they need that long term to be successful, but they could have a slower, softer launch starting next week. And if it does what they want and is as good as they think, let it build from there. However, all of the, as I said, all of the, if you search for it on YouTube, your feed gets filled up with, this game is already dead. It's garbage. It's obvious that this game is going nowhere, which is completely wrong and a bad take because nobody knows. So it's a little ridiculous. Will Highguard be Concord 2? Highguard's marketing disaster is way worse than anyone realizes. Is it? We don't know that. This could if this comes out next week and it's a brilliant success and people have a lot of fun playing it and it starts to grow from there, are all of these people that made all of these videos these past 2 weeks gonna apologize?
No.
Surely. Like even Mr. Matty, he's a relatively rational, well-reasoned person. And he's like, so Highguard is beyond cooked. You don't know that. You have no idea.
So, I mean, I quickly said, no, they won't apologize, but I can totally see them saying in a subsequent video about something else, oh, and I was wrong on that. But
Right.
that is meaningless because that won't get any eyeballs.
And that's not what these videos are for. So,
yeah.
We need to put out our video on why Highguard is already a proven success.
Right. If we're gonna like go too far one way, let's go that way.
Highguard proves all the content creators wrong. But obviously put it out on Monday before it actually launches and before anybody knows, so that we can get the hits and the clicks. We're so bad at clickbait. But yeah. So we'll see. That's coming out next week, and we'll get to find out what is up. Next up in the news, in the land of weird coming from Amazon, or as you were pointing out in the pre-show, maybe this is completely on brand for where they're going in the future, which was actually a pretty good take. They're making a new Fallout spin-off show, and it's going to be a reality TV like Survivor, except it's a bunch of people in a vault. And that's what it is. 10 episodes, reality TV, because that's what we all want, right?
I don't, like you say, I don't think we're the audience for this. I don't think gamers or fans of the Fallout show are the audience for this.
Which is weird.
Yeah.
To your point, what you said, it's like people that have heard of the show and think and it was, I want to be part of that.
But it was too much effort to watch the show because it was like, on multiple levels and
I actually have to think about what's going on.
Survivor. I like that. We can like get all excited.
Yeah.
And also another thing I thought about too, and I don't know if they're gonna do this, but there's a lot of imagery in Fallout that's like, mutated things, and like your little Funko that has the dog with the, arm in its mouth or whatever that is in its mouth. A lot of imagery that's very, horrific that they can just throw in too, and it's like part of the theme.
I guess. Right. They've got they got a motif that they can build around. The other thing that this article says, which sounds clever to me, again, I'm not going to watch it, and only the people that know what this means aren't going to watch it, and the people that watch it won't know what this means. But the Dwellers are going to compete in a series of games that test the 7 core attributes from the Fallout world. strength, perception, endurance, charisma, intelligence, agility, and luck. Players of the games know what that means and know what those are, but aren't going to watch the show. People that watch the show aren't going to know or care what those are or why that's interesting. And then your other point, of course, was this seems like Amazon again pandering to the lowest common denominator, which is also the biggest market, and that's just where their brand is headed.
Yeah, that is the biggest market, and yeah, like if it's the audience of any game, it'll be the audience of the Snoop Dogg game.
Right. The audience of Snoop Dogg, Judge, Bastard, AI, garbage in your face. I will play that. I want garbage in my face. And then I, of course, invented, and I want a commission for this, Amazon, but Real Housewives of Westeros will be coming up next, of course. All right. So there is that. I'm not going to watch it, but I'm amused that I'm not amused. I'm sad because there could be so much better things going on.
Doing that little subtitle thing again.
Bunker down. I know.
Yep.
I know. I'm trying to not continue to praise IGN as much, but they're just such a quality publication. And then my last article of the day, which again happened to be an RGN one, although I was searching for articles because I keep seeing it come up that Hightail is successful. And it sounds like it's successful and everybody believes it's been successful, but we don't really know because it's not on Steam. We don't have any access to numbers. But the chief developer is saying that they're very pleased with the launch. It's been very successful. It's exceeded their expectations. So good. Good for them. I don't know why. I said last week, I am just turned off by the whole, Minecraft-ish kind of style and look.
Yeah.
And I should really get over that and try it. So it's high on my list of things. And if it wasn't pre-patch this week, I probably would have played it over the weekend and been talking about it today. Because it's relevant to my interest. It's the kind of game that I should like. And I shouldn't dismiss it just because I'm not fond of the Minecraft motif. I did not grow up with Minecraft. I wasn't like a Minecraft kid because I was not a kid at the time Minecraft got invented. I was a fan of Minecraft from the very start and worked at Microsoft at the time Microsoft acquired Minecraft and that whole thing from a technical perspective and a platform perspective. I mean, there's a lot of brilliance in how the game is actually made. And that's what fascinates me about Minecraft, not actually playing it. And I never really got into it in that way. I mean, I've played it a couple times, but not that much. I like prettier games. And we're going to talk about a couple that have been added to coming soon. In our coming soon list, a few things that we've been talking about. So pre-patch was today. We're going to talk about that in detail. Coming up on January 26th is Highguard, as we said, and we'll see. It's a mystery. It's gonna be a fun thing to talk about next week, how it's being received and how it's dead on arrival or exceeded all expectations. It's the game of the year, and all the content creators are gonna they're gonna take down their old videos and do new videos talking about how wrong they were, and that's totally gonna happen.
Crying to the camera.
Yep. So we'll see that next week. And then there was a couple that I think it came up even in our what's in and out of 2026 that I circled back around that are coming up soon. So January 27th, which is again next week, is another one of these. So it's called Echoes of Elysium. And it's another game like Aloft. So you're flying around on these airships. You're flying between floating islands. You're in Aloft. Your airship is an island. Here, you're actually, it almost looks more like a pirate ship and kind of built it out. And then you go to these different islands and you mine stuff and you fight the enemies and you could collect and survive. Co-op if you want, up to 6 people. It's the kind of game I like. There are a lot of these right now, but I shouldn't discount it because of that, because as we sort of said last week, more is better. And if we like
Yeah.
these things, we should want to try more of them. So I may check this one out. It's coming out on the 27th. Echoes of Elysium from Loric Games. It's published by Snail Games, who we don't like because they've messed up Ark. But hopefully it's good. It looks good. The trailers and everything look like a solid one of these. And I kind of like this art style. But,
Yeah.
it remains to be seen how deep it is and how it feels.
Yeah.
And then the next one after that is not until February 16th. That's on my list. More things may get added in between. But this one it almost has the same art style and is another survival-like in this same vein. But you're not flying around on ships. You're not traveling like Raft. This one, you seem to be in a prehistoric Earth zone, sort of world. I don't think it's super big, but it's survival crafting with that sort of, soft polygon, cool art style. And you do a lot of like crafting and scanning of the prehistoric plant life and gathering ingredients and doing a little bit of adventure and solving some puzzles, interacting with some cavemen, apparently. That's coming out in early access on February 16th. That's cool.
Yeah, it looks kind of cute.
It's got some mechanics in it, it wasn't even showing it. This little
I wonder if it
scanning.
has third person.
Oh, good point. It's the videos are only hands videos and
Yep.
pictures,
Yeah.
so it may not. The little scanning. Some of those, the scanning and collecting animals, which doesn't seem like there's a lot of animals. Kind of looks like gardening a goat a little bit. We've got scan the plants and animals and collect the animals, but we have lots and lots of animals, and it's all about the animals. Ours is an animal collecting game, not a survival game.
And they're doing a comic series, a web comic series
Oh, are they?
for the game, which I think is very
Oh, Sprout
possibly
Out episode 6 is here.
yeah,
Oh, I
a
didn't see
way
that.
of a way of doing some creative marketing and getting some eyeballs on your world.
Oh,
Yeah.
no, that's a great idea. Boy, if we had some budget, and do something like this, because we have kind of a little bit of a story of what's going on in our game. It's hard to do. It's hard to do, and it's hard to do well. But that's cool. I like that. That is great, and it seems like it's definitely an indie publisher, self-publishing, which is fun to look at and support as well. So it's Space Goblin Studio, who's the developer and publisher, and they seem small. So good job for them. Star Trek Voyager Across the Unknown. Talked about that quite a bit last week. That's coming up on February 18th. And then the last one that I'm adding to the list, Sema. I'm going to add it to the list. This is not something I would normally want to play or be into, but Resident Evil Requiem has my attention. What? Why? Why, Sema? Why? Tell me why.
Because you like what's his name?
Leon, main character, or why? Because I like Walton Goggins.
No, is he in it?
No. Who do I like? Okay, tell me.
I don't know who I mean.
Do I like somebody from the game or somebody that's like something in this game? What are you thinking of?
I'll just have to let you know on that one.
I don't know why. I don't know what you're talking about.
I know you're really, really into horror. That's why you want to play it.
Right, which I am not. That's the weird part. You're absolutely right. I don't like horror games typically. However, so what the deal is I've actually never played a Resident Evil game. I've been aware of them. I know what goes on in them. I've seen I've seen people play them. I've seen videos of them. This is Resident Evil Requiem, and the way that they're treating this is they've been doing this for a while. They've been doing Resident Evil games, and there's been a little bit of a thread, an arc. There's been people that have sort of like continued through a bunch of these games. In theory, this kind of like ties a bow on a bunch of the current storylines. So Leon is still in it. Leon was one of the main characters. Everybody was wondering if he was going to be in it. Yes, he's going to be in it. Grace Ashcroft is the daughter of one of the previous characters that was in some of the previous games. But this is, in theory, going to wrap up some of the Resident Evil and tie a bow on it, hence the Requiem. They're still going to make Resident Evil games after this. So it's not that there's going to be no more Resident Evil games. The chat room is saying, I like this because it doesn't look like Minecraft. Well, yes, that is true. It's very pretty. I mean, for as ugly and gross and dark as it is, and, like the zombies spitting teeth out. But the models, the graphics, it looks really good. That, that is part of it. I did look at this and go, oh, this looks good. Boy, they're doing a lot of good work. The animation, the mocap, the face on the zombie is really good. He's the big bad guy, Gideon something. I don't know. It's cool. It looks cool. And then we get to see Leon later on. Leon's coming back. He looks like a badass. Here he comes. It's good now. I'm Leon. Look at me. What am I? I'm Leon. I'm a cool guy. Oh, are they in Chicago? Anyway, great graphics, great series, iconic addition to gaming. I'm probably going to play Resident Evil.
I mean, you're
Requiem.
just listing all the reasons why you might want to play it.
Yep, exactly. So that's it. So we shall see.
It looks like it might be kind of a little bit of a murder mystery too. Like, not a murder mystery, but a mystery, like
yes,
putting the clues together and figure out what's going on.
Yeah, I
Which
think
adds on appeal.
all of them are kind of that way to some degree.
Yeah.
Which kind of makes it cool. A little bit more cerebral, but then he is using a chainsaw to cut up a zombie. So there's that part of it too. Just right when I say how cerebral it is, he
That's the
sticks a
cerebral
zombie.
part right there.
Leon shoves a chainsaw right through a zombie's chest. Right. With that, thank you, everyone. This podcast is brought to you by Garden and a Goat, the upcoming game from Contemplation Games, which I've been working on a ton. We're in a little bit of a crunch. Big things are happening for us in the next month, just in terms of open beta. So keep an eye out for that. Also brought to you by Alea Iacta Est, aie-guild.org, who's doing a lot of work right now on World of Warcraft to get ready for Endeavors in particular, which we're going to talk about, which is sort of like the neighborhood thing. So that's good to have a gaming group that's going to be supporting those kinds of things for you. And AIE does that across all of the games, so we appreciate that. It's also brought to you by all of you out there watching, listening in the chat room right now. We really appreciate that support. That's just really, really cool, you guys. All right, Sema, are we prepared? Let's hear it. Let's hear it.
You are not prepared.
We
said the
aren't
thing.
prepared. That's the thing. That's the thing from the thing.
I just heard that in game yesterday too, because I played the War Within recap, and there was a moment where Illidan gets introduced and he says it.
Okay. Well, there we go. And Blizzard believes we are not prepared for midnight. So it's relevant once again. And to get us prepared, that's this whole idea of pre-patch, pre-expansion update. So it's live. And yeah, so you've been in it. I've been in it. We'll talk about what all is in it. But I think one of the first things I wanted to kick it off with was, what is the deal with pre-patch, and why is it so interesting in World of Warcraft? Why do they do it?
Even do it? Yeah.
Yeah. And why does nobody else do it? Because the more I thought about it, I thought, this is really smart. They're doing a really good thing. They're doing a really good thing for a few different reasons. They're doing a great job of testing the content, doing a great job of introducing the new features. It's also like a marketing, a big marketing thing. It's getting everybody like prepared. Everybody's been testing this for the last month. Now this part is live. Midnight's coming in March, so it's like just like a month and a half away. But this is now like getting everybody to come back, to get ready to come back for real in a month. And then it's also, so not only just like the marketing, but it's a content drop for spreading out content. Because,
It also addresses the typical end of X-Pac drought.
right, right,
And I think like your first bullet here is it a mechanical necessity? And I don't know if it's a mechanical necessity, but I do believe there's mechanical advantages. Like we had our big 8-hour maintenance window, which turned into like 10 or 11 hours this week, which a lot of people had to wait for, but it won't cloud up the actual release of the new X-Pac.
right. So it's getting a bunch of things out of the way. It's getting a bunch of the underlying infrastructure in place. And yeah, to your point, maybe slow rolling some things that could break the game so that they can get
Yeah.
them done and broken and fixed by the time midnight actually drops.
Right. Like they introduce, changes to classes and some beginning stuff so they don't have to do that while they're introducing the new zones.
Right. So I think
I
it's
think.
really smart. But then I tried to think about it and I looked around and was like, okay, does Final Fantasy, does Guild Wars, ESO, SWTOR, none of them really do this. They'll do big changes and they'll do like one-off updates where they're doing class balance or they're introducing new features, but they don't wrap it into the expansion and then do a pre-patch like WoW does. And I wondered why. Yeah, I imagine it's work. But I also just wonder if it's just a missed opportunity. And nope, they're just not thinking about it enough to want to put in that bit of extra work for the extra benefit that they could potentially be getting out of it. I would try it. Like if I was running an MMO, I would want to do this. I would try to make this happen as part of the release schedule. I think it's a great idea. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think it also is potentially an engagement thing too, because the pre-patch coming, not only is it getting people like hyped for midnight, but it's sort of like, oh, what do I need to get done before I'm gonna like focus on midnight?
Right.
So I better log in.
Right.
You know?
I better log in. And I logged in and you logged in.
Yeah.
And I logged in this morning. I didn't do it last night, but I logged in this morning and I was in there for probably about 90 minutes, touching all of the new things. And that is pretty much the first time I've logged in to WoW Retail outside of Legion Remix since before Legion Remix. So it's doing its job. It got me back to the game. And I guess now let's get into what we saw. Now, a lot of this we knew was coming, and we've been watching like the news and the patch notes and everything for a month now, at least, or if not months. Taliesin and Evitel, and they've been telling us for a long, long time all of what's coming. We did try housing, which was even pre-patch.
Right.
But yeah, so let's talk about some of the core things that we heard and saw, and we do know that are coming. So let's top of their list, and I don't know why it's top of their list all the time, but it's the Demon Hunter Devourer and the Void Elf Demon Hunter. You can now be a Void Elf race you can be a Demon Hunter. That seems fine. Have you played Demon Hunter much? Oh yeah, you did. You played Demon Hunter some.
I did some. I did
You were
it in
like
remix.
forced to, right? You were made to.
Oh no, that was my DK, which I really like my DK.
Oh, I thought. Oh, you were. I thought you. It was threatened to make you be a Demon Hunter tank. I thought, but then you got out of that. You didn't have to do it.
I think originally in our little dungeon, for remix, my challenge was gonna be Demon Hunter, but then someone pointed out that the one button assist doesn't really work that well for Demon Hunter, so it was unfair. That would put me at a disadvantage. So Shrimp took pity on me and made me DK, which DK being Death Knight, and that was really fun.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think for one thing, since they're doing this, they're adding a spec. Like forever, Demon Hunter has only had 2 specs,
Right.
and
Okay.
other classes have 3 or more. But this has to be in the pre-patch, right? Because this gives people a chance to learn this spec or start a new demon hunter and level it up so they're ready for midnight.
Right. I looked at the spec. I looked at the gameplay of the spec. I watched the videos, the idea of the spec. There's parts of it I really like, which is it's a mid-range spec. You can you're like going in and out a little bit. You're kind of more like mid-range, not fully ranged, not melee. But the part of it I don't like is you're this void. You've got these void orbs and this void building up the void mechanic. And you're dropping these orbs around, and you need to be like picking them up while you're playing and collecting them so that you can unleash this. I think it's like the Starfall kind of ability that blasts them in the face. I never liked any of the games, and it was done in WoW a couple times, and it's been done in a couple other games. It was mostly like either like a trinket that did it or an extra ability, but it would like drop orbs around, and you had to like pick them up to charge yourself up. The reason I don't like that is because in a game like WoW, especially when you're doing like raid content, but even in some of the other content, you don't have control of positioning. You don't have control of the battlefield. And in raids especially, it's like, okay, everybody be like on the right side. Okay, now we all have to shift to the left side and run, 30 meters to the left. Okay, now we have to shift 30 meters to the right. You're going to leave all your orbs behind every time you do that. And it gets frustrating because now I'm like, well, I guess I don't get to pick up those orbs, and my big Starfall ability, my big DPS ability now gets screwed because we have to stand here for 5 seconds, and then this is where I dump all my orbs, and then I leave them all behind.
And I think that's, yes, a lot where the skill and timing and the twitchiness comes in. And it's kind of similar to what melee people have to do in those same situations you just described, when they have to run out of range of their abilities.
Yep. Yeah.
To hit the boss. So it's,
and that's usually compensated for by increasing the damage that they put out.
Yeah. So there might be a similar compensation here.
Yep, could be. Even so, I just find it more frustrating for some reason when I can still see those orbs sitting over there, for one. For two, I can also find it frustrating when you're a raid leader and you say, okay, everybody's got to stack up to share this damage. Stack up. Everybody could like stack right. What are you running over there? Don't be picking up your stupid orb. Stick. No. It's going to cause problems.
My issue with Demon Hunters in general, and also with DK, Death Knight, is the class fantasy. Like, I'm not turned on by the, waging the Fel forces or the Void forces or manipulating death. Yeah, it's not my thing. So, but I'm glad this exists for the people who have wanted this for so long.
Oh, I just saw, whose video is this? Oh,
I hope they love it.
This is, let's give credit here because it's a nice breakdown. Mr. GM does a nice video, but this is like his segment where he's talking about the transmog update. And look at this, Sema. Look at what hat his little transmog is wearing for his dwarf. So this is another big update. Wait, I think I've got it. Oh, and I think I closed it. Let me see if I can find it again. I'll get it up while we talk about the next feature. So let's talk about that next. Let's talk about transmog, and then we'll come back and we'll talk about the class changes. You got into transmog. I did a transmog. I set up a couple outfits. Tell me a little bit about what you did so far in transmog, and then I'll pull up pictures of what you did.
So I think I'm going to like the system because basically it breaks out how transmog works in WoW up until yesterday was you actually would go to a place or use an ability to transmogrify your actual piece of gear, and you had to do this every time you upgraded that piece of gear because the gear itself wouldn't match your look anymore. So if you were into how you look, which who isn't, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
And this is how Sema looks. This is the transmog that she put together. Here,
yeah.
let me give you the profile view because this is where it really hits home on that helmet.
Yeah. Yeah. I try to get the biggest hats possible for my gnomes.
It's kind of looks
But
like she's wearing a horde hut on her head.
no, I'm being a rhinoceros. What are you talking about?
Look at me, I'm a
Anyway,
rhinoceros. Meow.
now the way it works is you just create an outfit and you just wear the outfit, and your underlying gear can change all you want. It doesn't change your outfit. So you
Yes.
don't have to keep going back for each piece of gear. The sort of controversy going on right now is it seems like it costs a lot of gold compared to the old system, but I think we might find in the long run, depending on how you use the system and have used the system in the past, it might be similar or different, similar or less even.
Yes. I think
I
it
don't
will be
know.
less for anybody that cared about transmog. It'll definitely be less. It is my impression because it's a one-time
And
cost.
I tend to sort of fall into an outfit and then wear that for a long time.
Yeah,
So
so
it'll
do I.
definitely be less for that style. If you like to have tons of different outfits and you want to make each one of them into it, tons of different looks and you want to make each one of them into an outfit, that'll have a big upfront cost,
Yeah.
but hopefully over time it will still work out for you. I hope. Fingers
Yeah.
crossed.
I mean, it'll still be it'll be an upfront cost, just like it was. The one thing people are a little miffed about right now is you might have spent that upfront cost to transmog some gear pieces that you have in the bank, and you switch into them when you're trying to dress up for our role playing or for whatever. And now you're running into a situation where none of that matters, and you have to redo all of those and pay that upfront cost again to create each of the new outfits
Right,
in
like
an
the
outfit
old
slot.
transmog, nothing about it carried forward, and I guess they didn't really try to smooth that out for people by providing 1 or 2 free transmoggings.
Right.
Um,
They give you 2 free slots, but
yeah,
they're empty. And then
right.
to apply armor piece looks into those slots to set up those 2 is, for me, it was like 1,500 gold each, which is
But
not
also, I
insignificant.
mean, it's not insignificant, but also it is, in a way it is, right? Because like if you do some world quests, you get 1,000 or 1,200 gold for. So like, is it worth 5-10 minutes of playing a game that you
True.
love?
Yeah, I'm not. I haven't I haven't played. I'm not familiar enough with the economy anymore to know. It sounded like a lot to
Yeah,
me, but
right,
I I
right.
I don't know.
I mean, it can be a lot if your character has 50,000 gold, and then you have to give 1,000 gold every time you want your outfits to be saved or whatever it is. But I mean, just to remake the gold is almost that amount of gold for one outfit is almost trivial.
Yeah. Okay.
If you're at max level and you're playing War Within. That's one argument.
Right.
I totally get though, if you went to bed on Monday night and you had paid for all this transmog you have and you wake up on Tuesday and it's all gone, that does not feel good.
Right. It does not.
And it was people in our guild Discord were posting pictures of top-down pictures of the main cities and just like thousands of transmog mounts
Yeah. Right.
there. Because like people are logged in and like, oh no, oh hell no.
That
Gotta
is
fix this right now.
that is a little bit of a weird thing in World of Warcraft where they limit so much, and I discovered this with 2 different things when I logged in this morning. They limit so much to physical locations where you have to go to do stuff in the game. The bank is one of them. And I was searching, why do I not have like a remote bank? Why don't I have remote access to just my personal bank? And you don't. You got to like go travel to a city and find a bank, and they're not everywhere. They're not like around every corner.
I mean, there are ways around that, but they're expensive, involved, and they are usually character by character. They're not for your
Yeah.
account.
And then transmog is another one. Now, this new system does give you a lot more functionality though. And once you set up the transmogs, which you do have to do at a physical location, which is, and you do potentially have a mount. A lot of people have the mount, which gives you the transmog person on
Yeah.
it. But if
Right.
you don't have that, you have to go find a transmog person in a
And
city,
there's a number
NPC.
of mounts that do that, and there's
Yeah.
different ways of getting them.
Now, once you get that done and set up or talk to that transmog person, whether it's your own or in a city, now you can actually have what you never had before, buttons you can drag onto your bar, and you can name it and you can pick an icon for it that allows you to have hot bar access to switching between outfits, which is cool. And then the
Yeah.
final part of it, which I think is interesting as well, is the situations. And you didn't set up any situations yet, did you?
No, because to me, the little interface for it, well, I gave myself like 1 minute to look at it before we had to start this, but it wasn't immediately. I didn't I didn't go, "Oh, I really want to switch when that happens." So, yeah, it didn't resonate right away. We'll see.
So there,
And I've never been the player that wanted to change my gear because I'm in town, like, "Oh, I'm gonna go relax at the tavern now," like some D&D player.
right. And that's what this allows you to do. And it
Yeah.
says, it gives you 4 categories of quote unquote situations where you can say, switch to this transmog when this situation exists. And it's locations, movement, like I'm flying, specializations, if I change in from survival to Beastmaster Hunter, or equipment sets. I don't know what that one would be, but maybe if I change to like from a gun to a bow or something. But the
So
locations is the example you're talking about. Is like I go
equipment
to
sets
a city.
equipment sets are in your character interface. You can change equipment sets with a button, and it's like if you are a druid and you have a healer set and you have a tank set. Those are equipment sets. So that
Okay.
also that kind of makes sense. Like, and with specs, I can see the advantage of that too. Especially you can just by looking at your character, you go, "Oh yeah, I know what spec I'm in," instead of like, I don't know. I would know anyway, but in case you change it so often, it's good to know.
The one thing
And
that
character select, see, like character select, what does that even mean?
character
Like you
select.
change.
Oh, on the character
You,
select screen, maybe whatever. That's the transmog that shows up on the
like
character
in
select
your,
screen.
yeah, okay. Now I totally want to do that because I get very frustrated sometimes with how they look on the character screen.
Yeah, that's a good one. Rest area, house in your house, WoW housing. That's a new thing.
Yeah,
World
if you
delves,
wanted
dungeons,
if you wanted
raids.
to wear like your overalls and have like a pickaxe or something or a measuring tape as your weapon.
Yeah, inside of your house. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, it's called situations though, and I can't help but think of Jersey Shore every time I see situation. There was a dude on Jersey Shore named The Situation. That was like what his name
It
was.
took me a second to figure out that connection.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I just cannot get that out of my head. So yeah, played with that a little bit. I set up my main hunter transmog, which is very subdued. It looks like, kind of like what Aragorn would wear, just like subdued ranger gear. And then a second outfit that's called Bird Person. So, and Sema set up her outfits with giant hats on her characters, which is great.
I totally want an outfit that's just called day jammies.
There you go. Yeah, exactly.
Stask.
Stask.
Stask
But that's
good.
that's what it's for. It's for the RPing, how Stask runs around in sweats when he goes out to the mailbox in boxers in the winter in Wisconsin.
Right. 2 degrees.
Classes. Now, this again is part of the reason they would do this kind of pre-patch is because they're doing class changes. And a lot of people are saying these are very, very big class changes. They're breaking down all of the classes, changing them dramatically. I didn't feel like it was so dramatic, but I was worried. So what I've seen so far for my hunter, it's not very dramatic. And the whole design around these class changes, in theory, are focused on a little bit of simplification. In some ways, that means taking away abilities, and a lot of people kind of like aren't as happy about that. And why are you dumbing it down? People aren't happy about that. But I'm okay with what I've saw on my hunter so far. What about you, Sema? What did you see so far and feel?
So, I haven't played my main, which is my warlock, because she's in the middle of a thing I'm trying to do, and I don't want her timer to tick down before I finish a certain achievement I'm working on.
Mm-hmm.
So I did go in on my DK, which I've been playing in Remix, and honestly, that's a bad comparison because in Remix she was super badass,
Right. Gee.
and I went and ran some delves, and she's still badass. And I did an 11, which is the highest one.
Okay.
Um, and I actually, did it all the way to the end and without, I mean, I still got I didn't die all the times I didn't over die. I did die a couple times it took me a minute to like figure out, wait, what?
Right.
Because I'm used to like, I touch them and they fall over backwards.
Right.
That was not happening here. Um, so I did notice some new, graphics. And I did notice that that my self-healing ability was only healing a little bit compared to what it was. I'm not sure how much of that was the effect of Remix, though, because in Remix you had just so much health.
Right.
So maybe that was it. Like, anyway. But no, I didn't notice a big difference. I say leading up to this change, and I think it has been assuaged quite a bit lately with people being on the PTR, the public test realm. But the fear was that if they simplified the classes too much, it would not be fun to play.
Right.
Um,
And I've seen
and
that discussed especially with like the hunter class that I've been playing.
right, and people that I know that had that concern, I think it's a little bit assuaged for them now. And there's another concern, but that's add-ons. But we're going to talk about it as a separate thing. But yeah, I think hopefully it's going to be fine. I think the combination of losing the combat add-ons and simplifying the class, the idea of it is to be able to design more interesting encounters. So I'm hopeful about that part of it. We'll see.
Right. Yeah, I played it on my hunter. I tried the new rotation, and it is easier. There's like 3 abilities that were in the rotation that are just gone. One of the key pains of the rotation that I did not like was managing the 2 stacks of the barb shot stacks, and you had to like keep them up, and they would time out. And you wanted to get up to 2, and you wanted to hold it at 2, and if you let it expire, then your DPS goes down by half. Not that dramatic, but that was always annoying to me. Again, in like raiding content, because now it's like, okay, everybody stop DPS because something bad will happen if you DPS. Well, that screws my stacks, and now my DPS is bad, as opposed to classes that don't have to worry about that. So it was annoying to me. On the flip side, I have seen the discussion threads when I was like searching, well, what do I do with my hunter today? That's saying, yeah, Beastmaster Hunter is completely ruined because it's too simple, because it's boring. Now it's just like completely boring. Okay. I guess I could see that a little bit. But so far it didn't seem that boring to me. It does seem relatively simple, but it allows me to do other things during combat then too, and have more utility. But it also didn't seem like that dramatic of a change. It was like one AoE ability is gone. One main rotation ability is gone, and sort of like one of the effects that you were kind of like managing is gone.
Right.
Otherwise, all the other stuff was still there, and it was still like felt like the same rotation.
I think there's a subset of players that for whom simplifying is painful, and they don't like it when it's, like you say, too boring. But I think the way you and I play, which is more, I want to say more casual, even though it's hard for me to call myself a casual player when I play pretty much, 3 to 5 times a week. I think we represent the higher percentage of players, which is that it's fine. I can still kill things.
Right. Yeah, I think at the very elite end where you're running meters and defining rotations and things like that, even the smallest change can throw things off. So it can feel big regardless.
And if you're a player that's not like that and you're watching that person, you think, oh my gosh, my class is ruined.
Right.
But then if you just take a moment to go try it out, you might find that it's not ruined.
Right. It's not ruined. Relax. We're all fine here. How are you?
I would not tell them to relax, but yeah.
I did get in because that makes people immediately relax when you tell them to.
Right.
I did log in, and like once every 2 minutes at some random time period, my character kept turning into this little cursed dwarf, like mining dwarf. And I was like, what is going on? And I looked at all my abilities. I looked at all my trinkets and my rings, and there's no effect. I finally tracked it down because a little debuff does come up when you transform. Because it only happens for 15 seconds. So I was not catching it. I had this cursed pickaxe in my inventory, not even equipped, nothing. Just if it's in your inventory at all, the curse affects you and turns you into this little cursed dwarf once in a while.
Yeah.
I
mean, that's pretty uncommon. It's pretty uncommon that an equipable item only has to be in your inventory to work.
Yeah. So I fixed that in my build. So I don't have to worry about that anymore. But that made me have to go find a bank, which put me down that other rabbit hole of how do I get to a bank in an easy way. But I was able to because I started from my house. We talked about housing. Housing's been in for a while. For anybody that had pre-ordered that of the upgraded edition or whatever, I set up a house. I set up 2 houses. I didn't really decorate the interiors. I created one house. So AIE had a neighborhood, right? And I got in there early on the first day that housing went in, and I picked a house in the Alliance neighborhood. And I didn't find out till later in the day that the players who play all the time, they were like all on top of this, and it kind of like scoped out which ones they wanted and like kind of like made a list on the side. Like, I'm hoping to get this plot in the neighborhood. And I didn't realize that. So I picked this plot. I really liked it, and I was all set on it. And then I heard this afterwards, and nobody told me that I like needed to give it up, but I did. So I gave it up so somebody could get their preferred slot because they're actually players of the game, and I'm not.
You're a tourist.
However, and it was a big deal for me for some reason. I did not pick a new spot. I did not pick a new housing location because I gave it up, and then I was like, well, I don't get my preferred spot. I'm not really that into it. I'm not going to get it again. Well, if you end up with more than, is it 50 that's in a neighborhood? If you end up filling up a neighborhood with your guild, it creates another subdivision of the neighborhood, which is a copy of the map, and you can freely travel between the copies of the map. So there was enough players with houses on the Alliance side in the one Alliance guild that's part of the whole AIE conglomerate to create a second neighborhood relatively recently. I went into there this morning, and my preferred plot was available, and I got it, and I was happy. I don't know why that like made a difference to me. I'm not even decorating the damn house, but I made the outside. I placed it how I wanted it. I set that up. So I spent 10 minutes this morning in this expansion, getting my house back and being happy and smiling about it. So,
yay.
Yeah,
I had a similar experience. I mean, minor, but like I just saw one of the guildies posting today saying, was showing pictures of their house where they are on it, and they go, and I can't believe I got this plot because it has this and that and the other thing, and I'm like, oh,
yeah.
I wish I would have gotten that plot. I don't even know where it is.
Well, here's the dumbest reason I love the spot I have in the Alliance neighborhood is because it's at the highest elevation.
Oh.
Of any of the plots in the whole entire zone, so that I can say
you have the high ground.
I have the high ground. That's it. That's why I have the high ground. Don't try it. I have the high ground. I don't know why. That's really the main reason. On the Horde side, I have a really nice one that it's like by a waterfall and a little pond next to it, and it overlooks the valley, and it's really beautiful spot. On the Alliance side, I have the high ground. That's it. So there you go. What about the UI? You turned me on to this last week. I also watched the Taliesin and Evitel Get Ready for Midnight pre-patch video, and Taliesin was saying, hey, well, my recommendation, which I tend to do from time to time anyway, is try it with no add-ons. Try it with no add-ons and see if you can make the UI do what you want. See if you can make the abilities do what you want. See if you can play the game with now how the new features that they've added in. Because if you don't do that, you won't even know what the base game does anymore. I have 0 add-ons on, and when I logged in, if the add-on's not upgraded, they won't turn it on for you anymore. They won't say like, are you sure you want to load these out-of-date add-ons? They just say no. But I looked, and the only add-on, I had a bag I only had like 4 add-ons or 3 add-ons that I've even using anymore. It was like a bag one, DBM, Deadly Boss Mods, which tells you when, like yells when you're supposed to get out of goo. I don't even know. It was not out of date, but, and auras. Auras doesn't work anymore, which sort of like told you when to cast things. That doesn't work anymore anyway. I did rely on that for like those barbed shot stacks that I was talking about. The bag one isn't terrible, not having that. Like, the bank looks ridiculous to me. The default bank. But the regular bag, they've at least collapsed it all into one bag. It's not that bad. And then the last one is DBM, and I just shut it off. So I didn't even bother with it because I'm not doing raid content right now anyway. So I'm playing with 0 add-ons, and I thought it was great. What about you?
So I also took that advice. I disabled all my add-ons, and then I logged in on this morning because I also didn't start last night. Within a couple minutes, though, I turned my inventory one back on because having my almost full bags in just one block of things in random order I didn't want to do that. So I knew that my inventory add-on was up to date for 12.0, which is what this is.
Okay.
So I did go back to that, but I am playing add-on free for the combat stuff, of course. And I've been playing with, so they make it really clear if you go into the controls, which separate groups of controls have new features in them. So I went into audio assist to play with stuff and turned on sort of, I guess this is sort of to take the place of DBM. Because what they try to do is they're saying, yeah, we're blocking these kinds of add-ons, but in that place, we're going to put in a cooldown manager. We're going to put in, and this is the audio assist. So this is the voice telling you. It doesn't tell you to get out of stuff.
Okay.
But it told me when there was an interruptible, an interruptible cast, which the UI already tells you that because it's if you can interrupt it, if you can't interrupt it, if an NPC is casting something you cannot interrupt, the bar for it is gray. So you already know by looking. So I was just kind of testing out, is it more convenient to actually hear it? And it'll tell you things like when you enter combat, when combat is finished, which is kind of useful because sometimes you don't notice that you're still in combat.
Mm-hmm. It's also an accessibility thing.
It is kind of, but when I turned on things like you can also have your target announced, which seems like an accessibility thing, but once I actually started doing content and I was like switching targets,
yeah,
all the voices just overlapped over each other and you could not determine what it was saying at all.
Yeah.
And speaking of accessibility, I know they feel like they increased accessibility, but they made some changes that are a ding to accessibility in this patch. For one thing, that used to be that your health, you could have it on the screen. There's a separate health bar that you could put on the screen and you could have it follow your character around. So if you had decreased vision and you were looking at just your character, you could see your health. but the health bar is now what's the word I want? Attached to a place on the screen again. So now you'd have to like turn your head, look down at the other part of the screen
Mm.
to see your health. So that feels like a step backwards for
So
some
potentially
people.
opportunity for more
Yeah,
work
and maybe
there.
that
And
will
it's not the
be
last time they're ever going to make changes.
no,
to, yeah.
and I'm sure they're open to feedback on stuff like that. But yes, I think the goal is accessibility. I think they might not know how to get there completely.
Yeah.
But I think that's the goal. It did not take the place of DBM by far, the voice assist. However, and it was a very boring voice. So I feel like it's an invitation for customizers to write add-ons that will give you more interesting voices.
Right.
We'll see.
Right.
Um,
Are you going to
but
record your
that-
voice so that we can add it as a voice pack for us, Sema? That would be great. I can do Sean Connery. I'll do a Sean Connery one for everybody.
I mean, and we could get GPT to write it.
You have entered combat. You have left combat. You have pulled out your sword. It's named Excalibur.
Yes. I was joking about that when I say we could get Chat GPT to write it, because apparently that is a little bit of that is going on with add-ons right now, and it's making some add-ons. People say, okay, it's working good now, but I did use AI to write it, so
Yeah. Okay.
advance with caution.
Yeah.
This is my first add-on.
Interesting. We'll see how those go.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, I think it's like everything. It's a good tool, but unless you understand what it's doing,
Right.
it might be hard to keep the whole thing in shape.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm not against it. What I would do if I was an add-on writer is I would say, hey, AI, show me what other add-on writers have done and give me some links to what they've done. That's the best way to use it. And that's what people should do, because then you can like look and see what other people have done, which is what we used to do and have to just spend hours doing, like searching, Stack Overflow and places like that where, and wade through all of the posts that were like, question, how do I do this with my add-on? Answer, no, forget about it. I found it. Issue closed.
Right.
What?
But you can
What
also,
did you do, man, from 1996?
Oh my God. You can also ask it, like, why are you doing this and that? I don't get it.
Yep. And give me other examples and tell me why, and why people, why are there the trade-offs? And it basically goes and finds the answer, and it'll tell you where it found it too, so you can trust but verify, or don't even trust, always verify. I think that's what you need to do.
Right.
Cool.
Yeah, that's the interface. We'll see. Like, it's too soon to have feedback from the raiders that I raid with, because it just nothing's happened yet.
Sure. Okay. That's
I
what
know
I'll be most interested in, though. Of course.
There were a couple people who can't play without LVUI, which is an add-on that replaces completely the WoW UI.
Yep.
And for a while, the developers of that add-on were saying they weren't going to go forward into Midwest, but they changed their minds a couple months ago, and I think the LVUI dependent players are going to be okay.
I used to be a big user of LVUI and got away from that years ago. And now I've been using vanilla UI since they added the customizable UI features, and like it. And I'd recommend it to anyone.
Too. But I get the people who want the more streamlined look. Like the WoW default UI has curly cues.
Mm-hmm. But I think even that these days, you can take off those little, you can take off the little gargoyles on the sides of your bar.
Yeah.
Cool. Last couple things we talked about housing, but they did add, which I'm sure we haven't seen yet. In fact, I don't think anybody's really started them yet, is the endeavors. So this is the system in the neighborhood where whoever's sort of like the manager of the neighborhood can start the endeavor, which is kind of weekly or monthly. I don't know how long it lasts, but group content and quests that kind of like level up the neighborhood and give you in-neighborhood, in-system currency to buy rewards. They haven't started yet for our AIE neighborhoods that I saw, at least not on the Alliance side. My thought on this is, I'm glad they're doing it. I my view on the whole housing system was, it's nice. It's a nice to have thing, but not really engaging unless you are a big collector and decorator. Now, if you are, great. You got a whole thing that you can do and a whole reason to go off and do things in the world to collect and decorate. I do this in other games. Any of the systems where it's non-functional and it's just collect and decorate, I tend to collect and decorate once, and then I'm kind of like done. And then that, like, no reason to ever sort of even go back there again. The Endeavors is a reason for you to go back to the neighborhood and engage with the neighborhood a little bit. So that's nice. And then there are more rewards.
I sort of see it like Total Galactic War and Star Wars: The Old Republic. It's like part of the appeal of doing it is your team is all working towards a goal together.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Which is good. And so that puts an engagement model together around it.
And also, like Star Wars, for me, I'm motivated to get the decoration items whether or not I ever decorate.
Yes. Yeah. As a completionist collector, I am to some degree also, although not so much in games that I'm not currently playing. Like, I haven't been playing WoW, and I did not go back and even bother to get the rewards that I was due for Remix. In fact, I don't even know if I can or can't with any of the bronze that I would have had. I didn't even check. And I'm okay with if it's all gone and evaporated. So there was probably stuff. I mean, I know there was housing stuff that I could have gotten, and I didn't. Oh, well. If I get into it, though, then yes. Then I'm like, oh, well, what can I do? Where should I go? You know, you make little self-generated content out of it, and that's fun.
Yeah, I do it because I might one day get into it.
Yeah. I used to do that in all of the places, and I still do that with things like Twitch drops. But I've gotten away from it so much because I've got 20 games where I could be doing that, and I'm never going to.
I know.
I had to give it up, and it's been so freeing to.
In Star Wars, though, I have so many decorations. I have decos out the yin yang.
Yep. And
all
you need is chairs. So it's really confusing why they put other kinds of decorations in
Right.
the stronghold
All you
system.
need are chairs. Do, 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 do.
The last thing on the list to wrap it up for us, they did the PvP thing, the PvP training grounds. I did look into it just a little bit, and it is designed as training grounds.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Now, there is a little bit of rewards. I guess you do get a little bit of honor, which is sort of like the PvP currency that you can buy the PvP gear with. But it's in relatively small amounts is what it sounds like. This is all from... I couldn't find an updated video, which is explaining it for today. So not sure if it's changed or those amounts have gone up and down for the actual release. But the idea is that it's designed around training for PvP. And what you get to do is you get to go in with a group and form a team, and you fight against NPCs. I am fond of those kinds of systems. I like that. I like that they have that kind of thing. I don't want to just like jump into any game. A lot of games, even like MOBAs and things like that are getting very good about doing this. You can play against NPCs, you can play against bots, and kind of like learn the game, because you don't want to get in there and get in with a group and your first time, you don't know where everything is, you don't know where people are going, and people are like looking at you going, let's vote kick this guy because he doesn't know what he's doing. Yeah, I don't know what I'm doing. I just started this thing. This is the first time I've ever been in here. So you kind of get around that a little bit. So yeah, PvP training grounds. I like it.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a good idea, but unless it's a thing of its own and not just a training thing, I'm not interested, because I don't care to go killing other people ever.
Right. Unless there's either an intrinsic or extrinsic award tied to just that, you don't need to prepare to actually go into a real battleground. That makes sense. So that's why I did want to look and see how much honor are you actually getting? Does it actually progress you down like any of the PvP tracks? Get any? I guess there are training grounds achievements that are specific to training grounds. That's what one. I think the WoW trailer for the expansion said that.
Yeah.
But if it would actually progress you down the actual PvP achievements and stuff, then I would potentially be even more into it. And like in the PvP currency and rewards, then I would really like it. Because it's a way for people then that never get to consume that content and never get to get those rewards, have an outlet to do that where they don't have to ruin somebody's day to do it. But it's not, for people that love PvP, it's not ruining their day in theory to lose, because the thrill of the play is the reward, right? They're happy to lose. No. Oh, it's only fun when I win and everyone else loses. But if everybody thinks that way, how do you think that turns out? I guess the one thing that we'll talk about in the future, because it's not here now, is there will also be an event, in-game event of things happening, a Twilight Ascension event starting next week. Yeah, starting next week. The Twilight Achievement event or Twilight Ascension event. And they've done this for all of the other big expansions, or many of the other big expansions in the past, where things start happening around the world. And oh my gosh, you could go and close these close the Twilight Rifts or whatever's going to start opening. And oftentimes there's some really good rewards that are basically catch up. Also, alongside this, not necessarily directly tied to the event, is the Winds of Mysterious Fortune buff, which is extra bonus XP for catching up. So you get a lot of bonus XP. You could play a bunch of your alts. You could catch up your alts with gear from the Twilight Ascension event. You can catch up in levels. You can get everything ready. You've got now a month and a half to get everything ready. They've invited you back to the game and given you the tools to do that. Great system. Coming back to the beginning, I think pre-patch as a content tool, as a marketing tool, as a testing tool, as a mechanical tool is a really good system, and Blizzard's brilliant for doing it.
Pretty much hits all those marks.
Yep. So good job. Good job. You going to be playing a lot of WoW with your team then, Sema, in the coming weeks? You're going to be raiding again?
So we will start raiding again after midnight drops. Right now what we're going to do is we're going to trade off doing our little dungeon challenge that we've been doing. And with doing some dungeons so that everyone can try out their new combat changes.
Great.
Doing some actual dungeons, like max level dungeons.
Excellent.
And then that'll take us up until midnight launch, and then we'll focus on leveling, and then we'll focus on raiding.
What are the levels going up to? What level are we starting with? I don't even know what level I am in the game. 80 going up to 85 or 90?
I think it's going up to 90.
Okay. Cool. Leveling is fun. A fun activity for me. So I'm glad that exists. All right. I don't know how much I'll be playing because I got a lot of things to play, but I'll definitely be playing. It's tough. I'm definitely going to be playing Midnight when it comes available. I don't know how much of the Twilight Ascension event I will be doing. I will definitely be playing Midnight, but I do have a little bit of a problem that the Garden and the Goat open beta is also starting that week. There's no good week. There's no possible time, but that first week in March is when our open beta will drop. But we'll have the open beta going on probably for a month. That'll be leading into a couple other things coming for us in spring. But I am going to be a little bit distracted that week with other stuff. But I'll be in. I'll be playing. Not going to be raiding. Not going to be doing that. But I'm a fan of WoW, which I think most of us are that are in the MMO world. Well, I can't say that. Who knows? People have weird tastes. I love MMOs, but I hate all current MMOs. There's people
Right.
out there.
Right.
I only like MMOs that I played when I was 12 years old and don't exist anymore. That's the only MMOs I like, and but I'm a huge MMO fan. Okay, so are we.
You're
we actually
describing
like the games
yourself,
we play.
right?
We play the games we like, and we like the games we play. So
Yeah.
there we go. All right. I think that is it for today. And with that, all the feed and subscribe links are on newoverlords.com, and our videos up on YouTube/newoverlords. Please come chat with us in our Discord at newoverlords.com/Discord. You can also follow on all the social networks, and we'll keep you up to date there too. And with that, we will talk to you soon.
Oh, later, everyone. I was reading the chat room.